Hi there, Sandra here from Create in Spain, and today I have another hack for you. It's the hack for a stenciling tool. I've got some craft foam here. Get your other pieces and make sure that you put them in the same place. If you're using a double hole punch like this, then you've got the guides anyway and you can line it up quite easily so they're all going to be in the same position. You could probably use a paper straw. I don't happen to have any. In fact, a paper straw might even be better. So you want to cut off approximately, I would say, 1 centimetre of straw. Doesn't have to be absolutely exact. But what you want to do then is to fill that hole with hot glue, and while it is still hot, you then place the straw inside and you put it upright. Now it does need to be upright. If you do that sideways, it's not going to work very well. One thing that you can do to help you to actually get it upright is to make sure that when you have trimmed your straw, you have the bottom of a straw that isn't cut in the base, and that way you know you've got it flat. You need to put it onto something which isn't going to stick to it, silicone or something like that, greaseproof paper, so that it won't actually stick to that. But put the glue in first and then stick your piece of straw in. And you do want to fill it. Not go mad and flood it, but you do want it filled. Now, I made a slight error when I started this because I did it first of all with a piece of foam which was too thick and I had to manually cut it. I couldn't do it with exactly the same size hole because my manual hole, my single hole punch is slightly different size to my double hole punch. So if I were doing it properly, I would try and use a thinner foam and just use more layers to do it. Okay, that's just a word of caution. So you get the same size holes and it lines up well, etc., and you don't have any problems in that regard. I'm going to try putting my stencil over the top just to make sure I've got the right gap. That's correct, it's not causing this to bow, because if you've got them slightly skewed, it can then bow, and if it does that, your stencil won't lie flat, and that's not the idea. So you've now got these straws stuck in here, but that's not necessarily the way you want to leave it. What you want to do is carefully, without touching the straw, because if you touch the straw, you'll melt it, if it's a plastic one. If it's a card one, you don't have that problem. You want to fill that up with glue because that's going to make it very solid. I'll just round off the top like that. Going to leave that to set. Right, so it's cooled down, as you can see, because it's gone slightly opaque. They're in there. If you turn it over, it's nice and flat on the base and it has sealed itself to the craft foam. So, okay, you're not going to be able to be really, really rough with it, but it's in there, it's not a problem. So does it work is the question. Does it hold the stencil? Well, I've got one here, and there we go, it holds that perfectly. Because of course it's foam that we got here, you can clean it when you want to. If your little pieces come out, you can always just glue them back in or make new ones. Piece of paper under there, do your stenciling and off you go. If you really, really wanted to, you could even do like a square one and put 4 pegs in it, and that would be even more secure. But do you actually need to put 4 pegs in? Probably not. Now the other thing that you could do if you felt inclined is make a couple of extension strips with holes in at regular spaces so that you could slot them on here, and pegs on the ends of them so you can move your stencil further down. Don't need to do it. I've never needed an extension because I tend to stencil very small areas anyway, but if you do need it, you could do that. I've made this one relatively small because, to be perfectly honest, I never stencil anything that big. If I do a card front, that's probably about as much as I do, and I really don't need it. The beauty of this, you can get large sheets of foam, you can make it as large as you want. The main advantage of using this technique is that you can modify all the stencils that you currently own if you wish to. You can also use it for doing rotational designs if you put them on all sides, so that would be a good way to go. And if you're stenciling on something, as long as you've got the room on your paper or card, all you have to do is punch a couple of holes, put your paper on there and your stencil on top, like that, and nothing is moving anywhere. What is there not to like about this one? It's cheap, it's easy, and it works. To me, that's the trifecta. Thanks for watching. Take care now.